So I also run two other businesses. I own a lifestyle magazine and also a pop-up shopping events company, which are both currently kind of on hold at the moment. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about SEO. It's a really wide topic, so I'm not going to overwhelm you and go into lots of detail, but I'm going to give you a few bits that you can be getting on with, and then we'll open it up to questions. And Tilly is here as well, that's going to be talking a little bit, but we'll get onto that bit. Right, so I'm going to start. So first thing that you can, does everyone know what SEO is? How basic am I starting here? So essentially SEO is about where you appear in a search engine and how to increase your visibility. So these are all things that will help you climb up. So the first thing that you should all be doing is asking your customers to leave you reviews. Reviews are really important. So we want to be giving reviews across Google and Facebook and any other platforms where you can think would leave a review. I don't know if you've seen, has everyone got an iPhone? Or, yeah. So on your phone, you've got Apple Maps. Have you ever seen on Apple Maps, you can see, if you search a company, you'll see they've got reviews on there. Has anyone seen that before? I bet you'll notice it now next time you have a look. So that actually feeds in from a company called Yell. So you want to try and get some Yell reviews as well. What I've done is I've created a page on my website that says, leave us a review. It's then got a Facebook icon and a Google icon. The customer then can click the Google icon, takes them exactly where they need to go to leave a Google review, and they can click the Facebook one and it'll take them exactly to where they need to leave a Facebook one. So it just makes it really easy. So if you're asking your customer to leave your review, you can just send them that link to your website and then it takes them to the right spot. So when we're thinking about Google reviews, you want to aim to get a review rating between 4.2 and 4.5. You also don't want to suddenly go away from this and ask all your customers to leave you a review. You want to make sure that they're spaced out. Otherwise, Google's going to go, what's going on here? Why have you suddenly got a ton of 5-star reviews and you've never had any before? Also, don't worry too much about bad reviews. Everyone's going to get them. And as long as you reply to them instantly and it's not about the same thing, if you're constantly getting a bad review because you overprice your customers or you give really rubbish customer service, then that's not great. But if you have 1 or 2 bad reviews and they're about a separate thing, it's all about how you reply to them. Headings, H1 tags. So on each page of your website, you want to make sure that you've got a heading. So this, does everyone design their own websites? Have you paid someone else to do your website? You don't know?
I've paid some to do mine, so any thing I need to change, I'll have to obviously pay for that, unless it's easy for me to do myself.
What do you know what platform they built it on for you?
It's GoDaddy one, no?
No, that's your domain. Actually,
yeah,
can you
hosting?
Yeah.
It's your hosting. If you're through GoDaddy, probably the likelihood is it's a WordPress site.
Okay, I'll be able to find it. I know him quite well.
Okay.
Yeah, the best way to find out if you've got a WordPress is to just put in your URL /wp-admin. And if you get a screen that gives you a login screen, that means you're on WordPress. If you don't get anything, then you're not on WordPress, you're on something else.
I'm just noting that down. What do I have to type in?
So your URL.
Yeah.
And then /
yeah.
WP, so for WordPress.
Yeah.
-admin.
Okay.
And then that would take you to a login screen. So
lovely. Thank you.
Yeah, so essentially everything I'm saying, if someone else runs your website, then you're going to have to either go back to them or learn how to do this yourself or outsource it to someone like me. So each page of your website needs to have a heading. So you want one heading on each page. If you've got a Squarespace site, it's really easy. So you'll have, when you choose the size of your text, essentially you'll have normal, H1, H2, H3. So on each page, you would need to make sure you've got one H1 at the top, and it will normally be something like, it'll be your page title essentially. So it might be about us or prices or services. If possible, we're talking about local SEO here. So we're not talking about trying to sell things globally or nationally. We're talking about trying to reach customers near you, because I thought that was probably more beneficial to the people in this group. So for example, if you're offering SEO services and you want to reach someone, I live in Tunbridge Wells, if we want to reach customers in Tunbridge Wells, then in that header title, we're going to put SEO services Tunbridge Wells. So the word Tunbridge Wells is a location keyword. Does that make sense? You're all looking at me like I've said something. Yeah, ish. Brilliant. You want to name your images. So on Squarespace, again, if you name your images on your desktop, so you know if you've got an image, the file name will be something like image JPEG 7394, random bunch of letters. So you want to describe what that image is. So if it's a picture of, if you're a personal trainer, you want to put personal trainer and describe the settings. So if you're training outside. So yeah, make sure all your images are named before you're uploading them onto your website. Localized keywords. So if you're trying to reach people within, again, I'm going to use Tunbridge Wells. If you're trying to reach people in Tunbridge Wells, you need to make sure that Google recognizes that your website is in Tunbridge Wells. So ways to do this is you could be talking about community news. You could be talking about local events. Essentially, these things are probably going to be in your blog. You could be doing local interviews. You could be doing, I work with a personal trainer and we did a blog on her favourite places to exercise outdoors in Tunbridge Wells, because that relates to her topic and it gets the word Tunbridge Wells into her website. And then you want a local phone number if possible. So if you're, again, Tunbridge Wells is an 01892 landline. So we want that number ideally in the footer of our website so it appears on every single page. If you don't have a physical business premises, you can order a landline through Skype. I don't know if anyone's done that. I do it. So you go onto Skype and you buy a landline number, and then that number, when someone calls it, diverts straight to your mobile, which is really good. And I think, again, if it gives you a sense of kind of like professionalism if you've got a landline on there as well. And then I'm going to citation sites. So you want to be on local directories, and you want your business name, address, phone number, email address. So any local directories that you can get on. Sorry, I've just gone on the chat. So Sally's asked if we're using certain key terms on our images. If you can use them. So for example, I managed to get, I'll use the PT example again. So it was a personal trainer exercising outside in Tunbridge Wells. That makes sense. What you don't want to do is use those words if it's not relevant to what that image is, because you'll get in trouble for keyword stuffing. But yeah, any local directories. So it might be things like in Tunbridge Wells, we seem to have hundreds of them, just essentially listing your business. Some of them are free, some of them are paid for, but as many of those that you can get with your name, address, phone number on there, the better.
Sort of following on from sort of SEO titles, so sort of relating back to what Sally said, this is where you would want to use your key terms. So in the depending on what platform you have your website built in, there'll be an option for you to add in an SEO title and what we call a meta tag, so a meta description, and that's where you would want to put in those keywords. So an SEO title would be, for example, like Hope was saying, so if your page is called services, your SEO title would be services, and then what do we say, SEO services Tunbridge Wells, wasn't it? I think we said Hope.
Yeah.
And that would be your SEO title. So you want to first write what that page is talking about, and then the keyword that you're trying to target for that page. And then the meta description would just be a little bit more in depth about what that page talks about. So if you've ever done a search on Google and you've typed in what we would call a keyword, so you've searched in SEO services Tunbridge Wells, you'll see the first line that comes up that's in kind of a bold text, that would be your SEO title, and then the description underneath, which gives you sort of the overview of that page. That's what is determined by the meta description. So in there you'd want to say, for example, our services include SEO, SEO optimization, social media management, etc. For all of our services, please contact us on. And if you can get your localized telephone number in there, even better. So you want some sort of inquiry plug in there, so they can either email you without actually having to go onto your page, because with SEO you're trying to drive traffic to your website, but sometimes people won't even go that far. They'll just contact you from that meta description. So that's why that's so important.
Amazing, thank you, Tilly.
Can I ask a quick question about, based on that?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. It's on, I've got Squarespace. So when I click on the settings and then I click on SEO, and then I can change the title and the paragraph that comes up on the search. Is that what you're talking about as the meta tag description?
Yeah.
Perfect, thank you.
And then lastly, I was going to talk to you about Google My Business a little bit. So when you type in a company, so say you typed in Domino's Pizza, on the right hand side of your screen, have you ever seen that it comes up with kind of like an image, their opening times, their phone number, their website? If you haven't, go and type it after this and you'll see it. It's on the right hand side, it comes up. That thing there is called Google My Business, and every business should have one of those. It's free. You just go into Google, search Google My Business, sign up. The process is a little bit long-winded, but once you're set up, it's really quick and easy to manage. If you have a physical premises, then you're going to be putting in your physical premises address. If you don't and you work from home, which I do, what you'll do is you'll mark yourself as a service area. It's a tiny little box and you just tick it. And what this does is it hides your address from Google, because I don't want my home address for everyone to find it. And then you can kind of throw a loop around the towns that you cover. So for my magazine, I cover Kent. So I've kind of put my home address as the pinpoint and then a loop around all the towns that I cover. When you sign up to Google My Business, what happens is they'll send you a postcard in the post, and it will have a code on it. You just then type that code into your Google My Business account and that authorizes it. It's just to make sure that you are authentic and that you live where you say you live. Google My Business is really important because, as Tilly said, that most people don't even go onto your website. They'll see that Google My Business thing and they can get all the information they need from there. They've got your opening time, they've got your phone number, they can see photos, they can see all your reviews. It's just as important to have that as it is to have a website, if not more important, because it's the first thing people see, and just as important as your social media accounts. Your Google My Business account, you can kind of treat it like a social media account. You can have offers, so you can create a post with an offer, you can create a post with just kind of anything that's new. I think you can do, Tilly, what else can you do? Is it offers? There's like 5 different types of posts, isn't there?
Yeah, you can do offers, you can post blogs on there as well. So the thing with Google is, for SEO, is that they like you to feed into anything that they own, which they pretty much own everything now. So YouTube's owned by Google, Google My Business, all of those types of things. So when you load, like Hope was saying, load a blog maybe onto your website, you want to think about uploading it. It might seem irrelevant because you think who's going to look at a blog through there, but it's basically in the background telling Google that you're relevant and you're on them. And it's also worth pointing out as well that like Hope said, where you hide the address. If you don't hide the address and you haven't uploaded photos relevant to your business, it will basically pull a satellite picture of your road, and it looks really bad. So
it's awful.
So for example, I had a client the other day that I was talking to, and it had pulled her road, and she lived on sort of a road in Maidstone that just, like any road, you know, it was like they'd taken it when it was grey weather and it just looked a bit, so it just doesn't give the best. So make sure if you're opening that Google My Business account, you're also uploading photos that look nice as well, and try to do that on a regular basis.
Brilliant. Okay, so that's kind of, I don't want to overwhelm you, so I know that's a lot of information to start with. We could go on forever, but I think if you guys have any questions, that might be the easiest thing to do next, and between Tilly and I will try and answer them.
It's just on the Google My Business. So I'm just looking down at the writing here. So I can sign up to that without the guy who did my website. I can just go onto it, say I've got 2 different clinics, you see, so I can do it for both clinics. One's in London, one's in Kent. And I don't need him to do anything.
Nope, you can do that all yourself.
Okay, and the second part to that is the one in London is part of the address is registermyaddress.com or some registered address, something like that. Mm-hmm. Will that postcard go to where it is in Kensington?
So so is it kind of like a PO box address?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
So I would put so have you got a physical business premises?
So yeah, we get like the office to use and things like that, but I don't treat from there. That makes sense. It's just where all my correspondence goes to everything, so it doesn't come to my house. Then on company's house, it's not my home address. That makes
sense. Yeah. Okay. So I would put your Tilly, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would put your home address. So because you need that postcard too. That's all right. You need that postcard because it's got a code on it, so it's not going to work unless you. So I would put your home address, mark it as a service area, because do you travel to other places to visit them? Yeah. So I'd put your home address, mark it as a service area, because you need that postcard because it's got a code on it. So you need that to get it to work.
And then hide the address so no one can see it.
If you mark yourself as a service area, it will hide your address. Okay,
perfect. I just Googled it just now and it's come up with get started with Google My Business for healthcare providers. So does it?
Yep.
Okay, fine.
So you might have to create an account and then it will give you a drop down of which service you operate in, and then you can set it up from there. It's fairly straightforward.
Lovely. And I've written lots of different blogs over this lockdown. So you say to put that on all different types of, so Facebook, LinkedIn, and it all links into Google.
So I'd share the link to it. So write the blog, upload it to your website.
Yeah.
And then share the link on Facebook, Instagram. Tilly, are you uploading the blog to GMB, or are you sharing a link to it?
I would share a link. So the thing that you're trying to do to Google is you're trying to create from your website a spider web, so that Google sees that you're active in lots of different places, but it and that's what's going to start that rank. So yeah, like Hope says, you want to be sharing the link onto Google from your website.
Lovely. And this is all Google. You can Google all of this, can't you? In terms of, so I don't have to pay my website guy. I can, if I am using WordPress, it's simple to do things like that as well. For what you said.
If you get stuck, just ping us in an email and we can point you in the right direction. There's lots of guides as well, and
lovely.
You might already have an account. If you're with WordPress, the likelihood is your website developer would have signed you up to Google Analytics. Does that ring a bell?
Do you know, I'm awful with technology. Maybe.
That's fine. If you want to ping me an email after, I can have a look and see what you've got set up.
Oh, lovely. Thank you.
Go from there. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Brilliant. Fab. Has anyone else got any other questions?
So with the meta tag, obviously like the little description of what I'm actually doing, how do I know what to write?
So essentially you're describing what's on that page. Or you could look at some other people's. So look at someone who does a similar thing to you, and if you search them in Google, you'll see you'll see their meta descriptions, because it's that little bit that comes under their website
Right,
name.
okay.
Does that make sense? But essentially, you're trying to describe what's on that page. And if you can get, like Tilly said, get your phone number into it, get your localized keyword in there if that's relevant to you. But obviously, if you sell anywhere in the world, you're not going to be worrying about putting the word Tunbridge Wells in it.
No.
Miranda, can I just add to that? Did you say you were doing the plus size bikinis? Yeah.
Yes.
So for you, it would be really, really important to narrow down on your keywords, what the exact keywords for your site, because someone like James, for example, it's very niche what he delivers. So people will probably be searching that exact service in that area, so Kent or London. Whereas with you, because it's kind of a national, worldwide thing, people might be searching search terms that aren't quite, you know. So I think for you, getting those SEO titles and meta descriptions in place, it's going to be really important to determine what people are actually searching. So I don't know if you've ever had an audit done, a website audit. What's your site built on?
So I've built it on Shopify. So I've had Google My Business for ages, and it gives me like the update of like what people have found and stuff. But it's like trying to get those keywords, because sometimes it's just like curves or like curve, and it's like, obviously that's in the business name, but yeah, that's what it's on.
Yeah, so a website audit might be the thing for you, and that will just narrow down what people are searching, when people are searching it. It kind of just looks at everything.
Okay.
Like we offer it for free. Some companies you can pay for it. It really depends, and then you can take that away, and there'll be things that you can fix or you can't fix, and you might say, okay, well, I'll use the keywords that you've given me. But for something that's national, that you're not targeted to, you're not really doing local SEO, it's quite important to have those keywords really, really honed down, because it's so broad, otherwise it's hard to know who you're targeting.
I was going to say as well that some of this stuff isn't necessarily, this is local SEO, and like Tilly said, on a global scale or a national scale, there's different things, and also Google prioritizes different things as well. So what I've talked about is very much a local scale. So for a personal trainer trying to target Tunbridge, for example, these things will all be relevant. It's slightly different for you. And as Tilly said, we were going to offer everyone a free website audit as well, so that if you want to drop us all your email addresses afterwards, we can run it and then send it over to you guys.
Brill, thank you. That was very helpful. Thank you both.
Anyone else?
I was just going to say the same thing.
We managed to get through all of that without me being climbed on by many people. So
well done.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, of course you can. Go for it.
Sorry. So I'm in the middle of building my website at the minute. I'm using Wix. Can I do the SEO title and everything things on there as well?
Yeah.
Okay,
so programs like Wix and Squarespace are designed for anyone to be able to build their own website. Squarespace has a lot of these things built in as well, so that you don't have to go to the same extent to do your SEO. So I'm not sure about Wix, but I'd imagine it's the same thing.
It's the same, yeah.
Because they're trying to teach people to do it themselves, so they're not going to make it massively complicated. But yeah, all of this you should be able to do yourself. It's only when you've started coding a website from scratch that might get a bit complicated.
I came across your macarons the other day.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Someone recommended them. Where are you based?
Ramsgate.
Yeah, someone recommended, my partner lives that way, and someone recommended them. And anyway, I wanted macarons and I tried to make them, and I am never making them again. They were awful. I had to throw them away, they were inedible.
It takes me a lot of practice,
Lovely.
Is there anybody else who's got any questions?
I think there was one more thing I was going to add. Don't go away and feel like you need to do all this at once, and actually it's better if you don't. It's better if you kind of spend maybe like an hour a week making changes. If you go away and suddenly change everything on your website, it's going to send you down the rankings temporarily, because Google will go, hang on a second, what's going on here? So yeah, it's better if you can go away and do a little bit every so often. And you might stay sane that way as well.
Oh, I think there's a question come up from Sally on the chat.
Yes, to do a page at a time, maybe once a week. Yeah, so yeah, so you could do it page by page. You could do it, you could take one thing at a time. So once a week, you go in and for that day, you do all your meta descriptions. The next week, you go away and you pull all your images down and you rename them and upload them. Next week, you do Google My Business. Or yeah, you do it page by page. It's up to you. Tilly, would you say there's any, it doesn't really matter what way you do it?
Yeah, just not too much stuffiness. Don't do it all at once.
Yeah. And keywords, be really careful that, I know we haven't really spoken about keywords because it's a bit of a broader topic, but if you are thinking about your keywords, don't go and put them through your whole website so it doesn't make sense. So for example, I had a yoga instructor that was selling yoga leggings, and I said, right, okay, we want to get the word yoga leggings into your website a bit more. And in her description, it was, these yoga leggings are the best yoga leggings I've ever seen, and we love yoga leggings because yoga leggings are great. And I was thinking, Google knows it. Don't do it. It needs to make sense. It needs to be readable. Obviously, you want to try and get your keywords in as much as possible, but don't do it like that. It has the opposite effect.
Yeah. It's also worth adding, if you're looking to kind of do your SEO yourself, one thing you must not do, and I've seen it so many times, is so Google will only read your website in text code, so in HTML. It will never read as you see it. So if you've written your keyword after every paragraph and you've put it in white and you can't see it on your website, Google can still see that, because you'll have tag, font white, tag, and then the text, and that's what Google will read. So please do not go away and do that, otherwise you will not be having a good conversations with Google. So that's not a good idea.
I've got one more question, if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say with the pictures, do you actually mean like on my computer I should rename it to red plus size bikini and then upload it, not the alt text?
Depends what website you've got. So if you've got
If
you've got Squarespace, if you name that image, I would say if you're unsure, name it on your computer and then upload it. Because
wow, okay, I didn't realise that.
Once you've uploaded it, Squarespace then changes the alt tag for you. Tilly, is it different with WordPress?
WordPress, you would have to, I think with Shopify as well, you have to put it in the alt tag. So the alt tag, you might know, but basically when you go onto Google Images and you search a keyword, the alt tag is what pulls that image into that category. So for example, like Hope was saying, if you've got a 39 JP, no one's ever going to search that image is never going to appear on Google. So yeah, it might be that through Squarespace you have to name it on your computer and upload, because it does it automatically, but with sites, I think with Shopify and definitely with WordPress, you have to put it in the alt text. What I would say though for you, Miranda, again, is if you're uploading a lot of images, always name your images, because otherwise it's a nightmare to find them. So when you do the search on your media library, that will pull from the title, not the alt tag.
I've just sent
Super, thank you.
With that, if you did a picture or put a picture on a blog, uploaded the blog, is it the same situation?
Yeah.
Okay.
The option to...
Hope, did you see Rosie's question on the chat?
I use Wix and have the option to give each image a description and rename it on the website. Just want to check that it will work as well as naming it. Yeah. So Tilly, do you know Wix?
Yeah, so with Wix, I think it's like WordPress that you have to name it. You can upload it however you want, and then it gives you the option to rename. So I would always rename on the site. If you upload it already with the name, it should pull it with that name. So you've kind of saved yourself a job. I have to admit, Hope's a lot more organised than me. I never name my images and I upload them, then I name them. So
that's what I've been doing, because I export like 40 at a time, otherwise it gets too much.
Guilty.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay, final call for any questions. Thank you so much, Hope and Tilly. That was absolutely brilliant. I think a lot of people have got a lot of things to do now.
Thank you so much, guys.
No problem.
Thank you very much. Have a good bank holiday weekend. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.